Hello and welcome back to our series on self-marriage. I'm here today with Laeticia Casano. Thank you so much for being here, Laeticia.
Thank you so much, Megan. It's wonderful to talk about this.
Yes, and you look lovely. I love that robe and like the matching lipstick. It's like you're looking great for this interview.
Thank you. I try my best to look great always.
Nice.
It's part
Well,
of the self-love process,
yes,
right?
yes, totally. And we were lucky to have a pre-interview. And in that pre-interview, you talked about the different ways you got to know yourself before your self-marriage. And this paralleled something that I experienced and that I call courting yourself or dating yourself in the book. What are some of the ways you self-dated before you decided to get married?
So to me, it was not really self-dating, it was self-development.
Mm,
It was going to therapy, but therapy is more through women's circles, family constellation. I don't know if you're familiar with this. Shamanism. So it was getting to know myself better. More than dating myself, was getting to understand myself, to understand my patterns,
mm,
why I had this is actually why I started my self development, and because I had troubles with men, right? It was really hard for me to be in relationship. And I thought, what's wrong with me? Why can't I find a boyfriend, a proper boyfriend? And yeah, that's how I dated myself. I really got to know myself,
mm. And
subconsciously, consciously, my whole self, my shadow, what's attracting those situations. um, yeah, and also how to take care of myself. So I come out of this dream of having a Prince Charming coming to rescue me.
mm. It's so important to take care of ourselves and not just self-date, not just discover what we like to do in the absence of anyone else's opinions, but also discover who we are, who we've become based on our programming and training and experiences, and what we want to keep and the pieces of us we want to work on.
Mhm.
So what were a few of the big lessons learned from that experience of personal development?
Um, so I realized I was toxic. I was very codependent, and I had this huge um, addiction to drama in my relationship, intensity through violence cycle of rejection and getting back together and fighting and that's what I learned at home. That's what I saw from my parents. So that's what I thought was love, but it was very making me suffer a lot. And so yeah, I realized that when I went into relationship, I would become a slave to my partner. I would totally abandon myself. I would become a doormat, and this was, of course, not attractive to a man, because if you know me, I'm very strong. I'm very independent. I'm very opinionated. I'm an independent woman. I get into a relationship. I should speak in the past. I got into a relationship, and I was a little girl looking for the Prince Charming who's going to change all her life and make her life better. And I chose men that, I mean, nobody can do that, but I chose men that could definitely not do that on top of
Mm,
this.
yes.
um, yeah, and I've learned a lot about my family, why I have those patterns. I mean, I went very deep. I went very deep through different therapies, different angles. Um, I think I'm at a point where I'm quite clear, and you know, and my wedding was actually not the point where I was done. It was the point when I realized how much work I still have to do and how much I have to focus on myself. And it
Mm,
was a way to focus on me, to say, okay, I take the vows to be my own partner, to be my own Prince Charming, and
mm,
save myself, right?
mm. Gorgeous. And you said that as time went on and you were diving deep into this experience of self exploration, you noticed that you were falling in love with yourself. And I think many of us know what it feels like to fall in love with someone else, but not with ourselves. Can you describe what that was like?
Yeah, so I used to have very low self-esteem, again because of my upbringing. So I've always been fat, I've always been chubby, and I was laughed at because of this in my own family, my own parents, and this was like something I needed to overcome, and this is still a work in progress. Like my physical appearance, I feel I'm a beautiful woman. Many people tell me I'm beautiful, but the weight is always something that has bothered.
Mm.
And I've been working on my self-image with mirror work. So I don't know if you know Louise Hay, she talks about mirror work. So I've been doing a lot of mirror work. I've been doing a lot of selfies. I'm very comfortable now on camera and on pictures, when before I was very shy.
Mm.
I see myself in the pictures and I love myself. Yeah, it's learning to be friend with the mirror. Like before I would escape from mirrors or not look at them. And now I spend time every day looking at myself in the mirror, saying, hi, I love you, you're beautiful. Naked, not naked, doesn't matter, it's yeah.
Mm.
And yeah, and it's also falling in love with my mistakes. Like stop blaming myself for my past choices, stop self-criticizing for the things I've done that I would have done differently, learning to love all my parts. And it's not done, it's work in progress.
Yeah. And so, was it that suddenly you noticed things that you wouldn't like in the past became neutral, and then you thought, like, "Ooh, yeah, I like the way I look in the mirror today"? Or was there a moment you realized you were falling in love with yourself, or did it happen slowly over time?
I can't remember. I would say it happened slowly over time because I can't
Mm.
remember a point of inflection of, oh yeah, now it's different. No, I think it's slowly, very slowly, through my work with other women,
Mm.
because we spend a lot of time naked. There is a lot of part of just being natural. The wild woman, she doesn't care her appearance, right?
Mhm.
She's just comfortable in her skin, and she knows her power, so it doesn't matter how she looks, right? So we work a lot with this inner beauty, this inner strength, this inner power, and then you feel beautiful no matter what, when you
Mm.
realize how much you can shine from inside.
Mm. Yeah, so it sounds like if you were to pinpoint the ways that you knew you were falling in love with yourself, one of them would be that you had forgiven yourself, or you were starting to forgive yourself for past mistakes. What were some of the other ways?
Stop blaming my body also,
Hmm.
enjoying my body for no matter the way it looks, like enjoying my curves, enjoying,
Mhm.
pleasure doesn't matter how fat you are, you can still have pleasure.
Mhm. Yeah.
um, and also seeing myself through the eyes of my friends. I know this is not self-love, it's still, but relationships are important too. So when you are part of a community
Mhm.
of women, in my case, it's important that it's women, because when there is the men glare, when there is the men eye, I can imagine they want something more, so they would tell me anything so they can have something more. And with my friends, with this circle of women, I can relax, and I can really see how they look at me, and when they tell me I'm beautiful, I can
Mm.
receive that. And so it was important to have a support group, I would say, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Beautiful. Um, do you remember when you decided that you'd like to marry yourself?
So it was after a big retreat I did with a shaman and with a circle of women, and I realized this is when I had this breakthrough that I was the slave of my ex, and we were separated, and I was still waiting for him to come back, and I was still feeling enslaved.
Mm.
And so I decided, okay, I am my own woman, I am mine, and I'm gonna marry myself. So I make the commitment with myself to not become the slave of anybody else.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember after that retreat, I had this idea. I don't know if I read it somewhere. I don't know if I came up with it. I can't remember. I
Uh-huh.
can't remember.
But you knew, yes,
Yeah,
this is something I'm gonna do.
yeah.
And it's so interesting because we can be enslaved to like people, persons, to our own thoughts, and especially these shoulds that come from society, right? These beliefs about what we should or should not do. And as you were figuring out the details of your wedding, you said you noticed you were falling into a trap of trying to plan the wedding yourself, getting a nice dress, getting nice flowers. These things were stressing you out. Say more about what you meant by trap and how you got out of it.
I felt at some point I felt, wow, I know why people divorce when they're about to get married. Because I was worried that the flowers weren't good enough, that my dress was not making me good enough, look good enough. Some of my friends were complaining about the weather, so if we should get another place for the wedding, all those things that are material, and that took me away from the purpose, which was just making vows with myself, which I could have done in my bedroom. Doesn't matter already. This is the trap. I mean, making vows to love someone, yourself or somebody else. Right now, I don't think I would do a big ceremony. I just need my partner, somebody, some people to witness it. But I don't need to spend a lot of money and make it. This is me. Maybe people like to create a ceremony that is really big around this. But this is the trap for me, that we fall into the material issues and we forget why we're doing it. We forget the why.
Yes. Your friends, I'm sure they had the best of intentions. And you said you were having a beach wedding and it looked like it was going to rain, or they thought it was going to rain. And they said, let's do it a different day. And you said, no, I want to do it today.
I said, "Are you kidding me? I have my wedding band. It's written the date on it. I have ordered the flowers. What do you mean change the date? Do you ask anybody who's marrying themselves to change the date because it's not convenient?"
Yeah.
And they told me, "Thank you, because this is a nice lesson that you are choosing yourself again and you are being consistent with your decision." But
Hmm.
yeah, I was clear. I thought, if they don't come, I'll just do it by myself. It's okay.
What a
But they
beautiful
came.
stand for self-love and for what you want and what you chose. Like sometimes we choose something and we have to choose it again and again.
Mhm.
What were some of
No,
your
but they all
favorite?
came.
Oh, go ahead.
No, no, I'm glad they all came, and it didn't rain. And I had a fairy godmother. My friend who did the ceremony. I don't know how you call it. Who was reading the. She created a whole ceremony for me,
Hmm.
and she rented an apartment on the beach
Wow.
for the wedding because she realized everybody was stressed about the rain. So she ended up renting a room for us as a surprise. And so
Hmm.
you will see in the pictures that it was inside the room on the beach, like we were on the beach, and then we finished on the beach.
Yes, let's actually look at these pictures. So I'm going to share my screen so you can sort of talk us through some of your favorite details from that day.
Mhm.
And we'll just go through them in the order they're here. Wow, that is a beautiful beach.
Yeah, it's close to Barcelona. So this was towards the end. This was when I was reading my vows, actually.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I wanted to read them near the sea, and I read them in French and in Spanish. And I had several people that were not. Uh,
Well, while we're here
um,
on this picture of you reading your vows, would you be open to reading them to us? I know you said you have them in French and
yes,
Spanish, but
yeah, I will try to traduce them for sure.
yeah.
So today I decree that I am a whole woman, complete and full. I don't know. Yeah, complete and whole. And I declare that the relationship, the most important for me, is the relationship with myself, and it will always be. I declare that I am my priority, and this way I free myself from the necessity to be the priority of somebody else. I declare that I will take care of myself first, so I can take care of others, and so I can let others take care of me. And I declare that I will love myself unconditionally, but so I can love others unconditionally, and I can accept their unconditional love.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's continue this tour. Tell us about this photo.
Oh, the beautiful ritual they did for me. So because I told you about this issue I have with my body. So a friend of mine, she sang a song from Rosa Zaragoza, in Spanish, about the body, about the beauty of me, and they covered me with flower petals.
Wow.
And it was a beautiful moment. Absolutely, I felt really touched and emotional. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, I don't know.
We're back. Let me share my screen again. There we go. How about here? What's happening here?
Yeah, I don't remember, but we were on the we were on the balcony for a long part of the ceremony, and I was probably listening to some vows or to some text they were reading for me, and yeah, I was enjoying the moment. I was really present that day and enjoying every moment, 100%.
Mm. And who made this beautiful headdress that you have here?
The florist. So I
Wow.
bought flowers. I bought flowers for my friends also, and I asked her to make the crown.
Mm. There you are again, looking
This
lovely.
is still, yeah, this is still the same ritual with the flower petals. Yeah, everybody had some text to read to me, poem or something from Marian Woodman, for example, about the light within. Yeah, we were maybe about 10 people. I didn't invite too many people, just my close friends.
Nice. There are some of your guests.
Mode, she was reading, she was blessing me, sending some blessing directly from the goddess, I think.
Hmm.
And everybody was enjoying very much the ceremony, I think. It was co-created. It was really co-created.
Did she write that blessing or did you write it?
And again, I was, she found some poetry also. Yeah, I wrote my part of my story at the beginning, then she had some blessing and some extracts from Marion Woodman and from poetry.
Hmm.
And then at the end I read my vows.
Wow.
So this is I brought with me my ancestors. So this is a picture of me as a child,
Hmm.
and on the right it's a sculpture of my grandmother that I made,
Hmm.
the mother of my mother. And on the left it's a picture of me and my mother. And I wanted my feminine lineage to be here,
Hmm.
because as I said, I did a lot of self-development, and I realized that most of my patterns, they came from my mom and from her mom and from my mom and from my mom. So I wanted them to be present, right, and to help me, to bless me also. on this new path that we are taking in the family.
Wow. That is so beautiful. I love how so many people I've talked to have
I actually
chosen.
did invite my parents, but very late. Mm. But when I invited them, it was too late for them to organize anything, and I was kind of glad because they would not have understood the symbology. I think they were very skeptical, but also very nice. They offered me flowers. They had flowers sent to me on the day of my wedding to my home, and they were very, very supportive. But at the same time, they were very skeptical, and they were thinking she's going through some kind of crisis. So let's just be nice to her.
I can relate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said the picture on the left side is you and your mom, and then on the right side, this is you sculpted that? It's like a sculpture you made of your grandmother?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I make sculptures. Yeah, of ceramic.
So
Yeah.
beautiful. And I missed what you said.
Thank you.
You wanted your, from your mom's side, ancestors and ancestors and ancestors, you wanted them all to be there with you. And obviously, like, this is generations back. So a lot of these people have passed away.
I
And
don't hear you, Megan.
oh no. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think when you're screen sharing, it's hard from. Yeah, now it's better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yes.
we can edit this part. So let me just pause here and we'll see if this is better.
Yeah, when you're screen sharing, you freeze a lot.
Oh, weird. Okay. So we'll just go from here. So for editor, Shanti, editor, just make sure to cut from the time when it starts breaking up, like show the picture, and then you can show us talking about it. So you said that you wanted people from your ancestry, your mother, your grandmother, generations back to be present with you at the wedding. And why was that important?
It's. I think at the time. I mean, right now I acknowledge my lineage, right? I think it's important to thank them for bringing you to this world and for all they gave you. But there is a part of what they gave you that is not yours to carry anymore, right? So I wasn't absolutely clear, but I knew they needed to be there. So maybe they could help me toward changing the pattern.
Beautiful. So having them all there and present energetically, spiritually was a very important part of this of the ceremony for you.
Yeah. Yeah, my grandmother, she was married by her parents. She didn't want to be married. She wanted to be a nun. So she
Wow.
was married to my grandmother, my grandfather, and I have had a lineage of slave women in my family. So it's no surprise I would enslave myself in relationships, and many years have passed, and this is even clearer to me. But at the time, I just knew I wanted them to support me and maybe to take back what was not mine anymore, what I didn't want to carry anymore.
Yeah.
Free me a little.
It's like you free yourself,
Hear
but
my voice and say, okay, she doesn't want to do this anymore.
yes. So it's like, in a way, you free yourself and like you break the cycle that's been happening in the family.
Exactly.
Did you have any other favorite parts of your self-marriage, moments that felt very sweet and special to you?
Um, the whole day was absolutely wonderful because I was cherished a lot, and I was very connected to myself. And so there was love everywhere because everybody was very connected to themselves. It was really a day full of love, full of presence and love. And when sometimes I could have gotten nervous or angry because things got delayed, or we ran into issues, I was just floating on a cloud, and I was so happy. Nothing would bother me. They even told me the day after, you were so zen. I was floating. I was so happy, you know.
So you
It
really,
felt like
I was just going to say, you really left behind the needing everything to be perfect or just right, and being present in the moment gave you access to a totally different experience.
yes, totally. Yeah, I just enjoyed everything, even the things that didn't run smoothly. I mean, we arrived too late at the restaurant, and they were about to tell us, no, it's too late, but they let us in, and everything went fine. There
Mhm.
was no issues in the end, and everything was just funny to me on the day, I guess. They didn't understand what was happening at the restaurant. Why is there only women? Where is the other person who got married with you? The waiter was being really weird, and I was just smiling and laughing and saying, it doesn't matter, you don't have to understand.
How did you spend your honeymoon?
Okay, so a few days after my wedding, I ran into a course on internet, an advertisement to train to make yoni massage. And I gifted myself this training, this
Mm.
very expensive training, to learn how to give yoni massages. And I knew this was my calling, and it felt so synchronistic. Like, okay, you choose yourself, and now you have to choose yourself sexually too,
Mm.
and you're gonna help women do the same thing. Hmm.
Yes.
And when you start to take action, it keeps happening.
Mm. And looking back, knowing what you know now, having been through the self marriage, having gifted yourself this course, starting a business where you are helping other women liberate themselves, both from, you know, limiting beliefs, but also to enter into a new chapter of their sex lives, enjoy their bodies more. What does self marriage mean to you?
Um, it means to feel complete. I mean, I still want. I'm still single, um, because I am careful. Um, I'm open to be in a relationship, but I want to be careful, and I'm choosing still myself. I think I'm choosing to still work on myself, and I feel I want to enter a relationship when I don't need it. I don't want to enter a relationship when I will be craving it or thinking this will be the solution. Or so I want to make sure I feel 100% complete and happy with my life, and then I want to share this with someone that I find will bring something more to my life, maybe,
Hmm.
or I can share with. Or, yeah. So to me, self-marriage means. It's the inner marriage. Now I'm doing a course on sacred sexuality, and it's this inner marriage of bringing all your parts together and being complete. Mm.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Laeticia, for your knowledge today, for your wisdom, for sharing about your beautiful wedding with us. It's been a pleasure to chat with you.
Yes, thank you so much, Megan. I enjoyed it too, to remember.